What is up, guys? Welcome back to episode 7 of our scripting series. In this episode, we are going to cover if statements. So let's get into it. So we're going to make a new script this time in our workspace. You can disable the script from last time. And we're going to start off by putting our two variables from last time that reference where our parts are. And in this case, part block and block 2. So we're going to put our if statements inside of a function for now. So go ahead and make a new function. We're just going to call ours if statements on mine. All right, so first of all, what we're going to do is we're going to go back to color changing because I feel like in a lot of videos, they'll print numbers or things like that, but that's easier. And many people get confused on changing colors because of the way that it's formulated. And I want to just try to teach you guys something new that you might not see in other videos. So we're going to start off. Oh, we have to put our perimeter. So we're going to make a perimeter for this. And I'm just going to call it part and part 2. So we're going to do if part dot brick color equals. You have to put the double equal sign when you're comparing it to something. One equal sign is setting something, like if e equals 3, you're going to be setting e to be equal to 3. But if you do e equals 3, it's going to compare it and say, does e equal 3? So we're going to do if part dot brick color equals brick color dot new. And we're going to do, let's see, let's find a color. Or we'll start off with if it equals really red. Then, and on the next line, we're going to put then part dot brick color, one equal sign, brick color dot new. And we will do really blue. So what this is saying is if the part, which is whatever we're going to be telling the function with the perimeter. So if the part brick color is equal to really red, then it changes the part's brick color to be equal to really blue. So before we continue on, I'll show you here how that works out. So we're going to go to test. We're going to run. And as you can see, nothing happens. Well, except he fell over. So we're going to stop it. We are going to anchor this guy first so he doesn't fall over anymore. Okay, so now we're going to change our part color, which is our block, to really red. So now if we run, well, it was supposed to change it to blue. 1 second. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. We have to add the perimeter. We have to actually call the function. No wonder it didn't work. See, so we're going to call our function if statements. And for part 1, we are going to put block. And we will just go ahead and put block 2 in here as well, even though it's not being used right now. So now, because it's really red and we're calling the function, when we start the game and test it, it's going to turn to blue. But if it wasn't really red, then when we run it, nothing happens. So we're going to move on to the second step of our if statements, else if. So else if, and we're going to go ahead and copy all of the code we just wrote for if and paste it after else if. And we're going to do else if the brick color dot new equals, what color can we use? We'll go with pastel yellow. Then the part color in the next line, we will change it to, we'll do pine cone. Got to pick some crazy colors here. All right, so there we go. So we're gonna give it a run. So it is red, so it changes to blue. But because we have it if else if pastel yellow, so we're gonna set it to pastel yellow so you can get the example here. So now if it's pastel yellow, it should change it to pine cone. I'm not sure why it's doing this. Resume scripts. There we go. I guess I hit some kind of button. So if we run it, for some reason it's pausing the scripts. But anyway, it does change it to pinecone. Okay, so I paused it real quick and I figured out what I was doing. Somehow I clicked on this red little circle here. I think that's actually something new. I don't ever use that. But when I clicked on it, it would pause the scripts when I pressed run. But now you can see it work. There we go. So because it's past the yellow, it changes to pinecone. So what's happening is when the function gets called, it's saying if the part, which we're assigning as block, so it's saying if the part color is equal to really red, then it changes the part color to really blue. But if the color is not really red, it will skip this if part because it's not really red, so it doesn't need the next step. And then it goes down to the else if. And then it says, okay, well, if that's not true, else if the brick color equals pastel yellow, then we're changing the brick color to pine cone. And if neither of those are true, nothing will happen and it will end the if part. So you need the both end pieces here because the if block is what I like to call it. This is like an if block. This is its own section of code in the function. So you could put more code afterwards, like right down here. And this would need to end before it can print this because it's in a different section. So the last part of if statements is else. So they're going to do else. And then when you're doing the else, you don't have to do a comparison because you're not comparing anything with the else. What you're doing is saying, okay, if this, then this. And if that's not true, then we go down to this one. Else if this, then this. And if that's not true either, it goes to the next step, which is else, like, and if these aren't true, then do this final step. And you're not comparing something on this step. You're saying if nothing else happened that you wanted to happen, then the final thing that you do, if nothing else is true, do this. And we can set it to a color like, we will copy paste the color line to save some time. We'll go with teal. And so we're going to get rid of one equal sign from the line I copied. And we're going to change the color to teal. So if this, then this, or else if this, then that. And if those aren't true, then change the part color to teal. So as you can see, it's pastel yellow. Oh, okay, so we have an error here. Expected identifier, okay. Oh, it wasn't supposed to have a then. I copied it from the first line without noticing. Okay, so it was pastel yellow, and it changes it to pine cone. But if we get rid of the pastel yellow and put a color that we haven't picked yet. So we don't have a magenta in the script, so we're going to go to magenta and we're going to run, and it changes it to teal. Because neither of the if or else if statement is true, it goes down and runs the else statement. And you could have a ton of if statements. Like, I mean, not if, you could have an if statement and then 5 else if statements. And if nothing was true, it would do whatever the else is. So what we can do now also is start a new if statement in the same function. If part dot brick color is equal to brick color dot new teal, then print it is teal. So as you can see in the output, because the first if and else if statement wasn't found and wasn't true, it went to the else, changed it to teal, and then continued on in the function. And the next part of the function checked if it's teal, if it's teal, print it is teal into the output. So the reason that when you're comparing the brick color to see if it is a certain color, the reason that you have to put brick color dot new is because the color isn't a value. When a brick is a color, like the brick is just directly that color, and the color isn't a value inside of the brick. The brick just is that color. So like if you had an integer value that you had named money, well, to get the value of the money, you would have to do int value dot value is equal to whatever. But because that's a value in the integer. But for the color, that's not a value. It just is that color. So when you do brick color dot new and then the color, what it's doing is kind of creating like another version of that brick or part, setting it to the color that you're checking for, and then it compares the brick that you already have to the cloned version to see if it matches. And if it does, like that cloned version is deleted and it says, okay, well, it either matched the clone version with the new color you want or it didn't match. So that's how that works. I haven't really heard many people explain that, so maybe it'll be useful to you guys. But I hope this helped you. Go ahead and comment below whatever code you wrote following this video. Share with everybody else what you've been working on. And if you have any questions or need any help, definitely let me know and I'm happy to help you.